Project. This is the psychiatric self-therapeutic multimedia project to solve the problems, challenges, obstacles in our lives, as well as a self-improvement process to reach the heights, goals, and ambitions that we have set for ourselves, as well as those we care around us. So, I haven't said that mantra in a very long time. That was more formal of an introduction than I usually give. Which is all right. So what we're gonna do today is this is the fourth stream since we started, and it's very different from what I've done in the previous class. So we're making a leap ahead, typing in one of the things that I should have mentioned on the Excel spreadsheet you see on the top left. And that one thing that I should have typed in there, very important, is more like a abstract understanding that I am applying. So there's very rarely any ideas or methodologies or beliefs or values that each and every single one of us have that we don't come to realize at some point, sort of like a revelation or just a change in perspective or a view. But to apply it is a whole different thing, right? To actually do what you've realized and apply it to benefit your life and the people around you and the surrounding and maybe the community. So one of those things is doing away with structure or chaos, order or chaos, freedom or structure, getting fixated on things that didn't matter was something that I used to do quite a lot. That was a key trademark of my previous streams, and that has a lot to do with the name of the channel. In fact, Human CPTSD, not realizing I had CPTSD. Of course, I've overcome that in many aspects and still working on and I'm still working on improving certain other sorts of symptoms and behavioral patterns. But one of the things is I can do away with that. And so in just the fourth stream now, I am doing things incredibly different from how I used to. And that's going to be really on display for this particular live stream. The change in tempo and method, and really also in just how orderly I used to do things. It's very scripted before. It's very I don't know, felt like tied down, and that's not very expressive. And it's not capturing the chaos and the messiness and the dirt and grime in life. Which is odd for me to say because my previous live streams were very dirty and disorganized and chaotic as well, but they had a certain structure that was too rigid. So in some ways they were too chaotic and too messy, but in other ways they were too rigid. And so over here, for example, it was 15 minutes long, there was a scripted introduction. I'm not going to do that all the time or even most of the time. And in this live stream is going to be very different. I'm going to actually be showing myself on stream setting up equipment, something I didn't do in it before all too often. This time it's relevant equipment for the streaming, and on top of that I will also be making use of that equipment. And so the whole reason why I'm setting up the equipment in the first place is because I need to make use of that for what I'm going to be recording on this stream particularly. And it's going to record me actually. So I'm putting myself out there, out of my comfort zone for sure. I don't even have a shirt on right now, honestly, but I don't care, it's fine. I have marked it already, it's not for like 18 anyways. I have pants on, like I'm clothed, don't worry. But the point is I'm gonna be exercising, that's why I don't have a shirt on. So I typically just get up and I do some exercises. And that's what you see here on the panel on the left hand side. I'm going to be recording myself doing some of these sort of basic stretches and exercises. It doesn't take much more than maybe about 2-3 minutes, maybe 5, depends on how rigorous I go into it, but it's not anything really daunting or very challenging. And I'm just getting back into that. In addition, there's also something to do with a routine that I do with my face, with my teeth, leaving something like a Sensodyne or some sort of toothpaste that replenishes enamel or dentin, and I alternate between different types of toothpaste throughout the morning and night. So that's something to mention as well. was one thing that I thought I might have to deal with if I was doing this live stream. I would not be able to talk to a lot of you guys right now because even when I'm doing the exercise, I keep the toothpaste in my mouth for about 20 minutes. I just felt I should mention that because that's one of those habits that I should mention I do. And since this live stream is really about getting life together and stuff like that, that's something worth mentioning. Next to that, we have, so unboxing the ring light stand, which you see in the backdrops on the thumbnail over there. That's what we're going to use to stick the mobile phone on. So we're going to take that apart. We're not going to unbox it technically because it's already been unboxed. But we'll get to that more on that later. Okay, so what we're going to do, not later, we're going to do that now because we actually need a way to record everything. So here goes. And then there's more stuff down here. You can see the contents just of the stream, just kind of very jot note form. The title's up there somewhere. I just kind of came up with it on the fly. So flex, stretch, exercise, standing table, unboxing, reconfiguration of the table so that I can put the standing desk on top of the office desk I have right now, and maybe we'll be able to use it starting next week. I don't know, maybe today even. It's hard to tell. So let's get up. I have the lights on only temporarily. When I start doing the exercises, I'm probably gonna turn the lights off. The windows are the window blinds are shut down because I'm not particularly comfortable yet with being in front of the camera. Let's move this to the side. Okay, so you have a bit of a better view now. It's not obscuring everything. So right there in the middle is the ring light, and it doubles as a stand because it is a full ring light stand. I'll pull this up here. Probably move this box out of the way. It's a pair of glasses that are not very good. Not very good at all. Pair of glasses. Maybe just toss it to the back of those. Yeah, just toss it to the back. Okay. Alright, move on. Take that stand that we'll need. There's the stand. Put it down like this. And yeah, so it's just like a recyclable kind of bag there. Let's take this out. And there's clearly a notch here. This notch allows you to, tighten. So I'm just gonna take this off. Ooh. That fell off, and this is basically like a remote sort of thing. For turning on and off the ring light. There's a little clip here at the back, plastic. Pull it off, and then this will put the battery inside in contact with the device. So basically it makes it, lets it start working. What I'm saying is it's not complicated, buddy. Toss this aside there for a second. Okay, so maybe we'll leave the remote here somewhere. Leave it on the phone. Drop. So here is the stand, and we can probably take off the bag. Just kind of bind it between my legs. Okay, there's the bag. Probably do something with the bag. I don't really know. You can probably stuff this inside one of these Amazon boxes for now. Makeshift. I don't know. Maybe after the stream we'll do something with it. I don't know. Probably stuff it on the back here, inside the box. Okay. As well as for the bag I'm not really sure. I don't know where the bag's supposed to go. I don't anticipate us ever using this bag after unboxing or taking out the ring light and setting it up, because we're going to be using this very often, probably like every single day. Could be even multiple times a day. I'll just leave it there. I was thinking of putting it inside the Amazon bag, but I don't know, maybe we'll need it. Oh, by the way, when I say the blinds are down, that's what I mean by the blinds are down. So they're actually turned up. Alright, so here's the ring light. And here's it kind of against the contrast. You can see it's like that. But what should I do? I should probably pull the Excel thing to the side a little bit. Oh, there's a chat that's kind of blocking my ability to maneuver everything. Alright, here we go. Whoa. It's that's like someone's head getting decapitated right there. So like snap. Um sorry, I got like dark jokes and dark humor and morbid. And that's the kind of humor that I tend to have. Alright, so we pull this here. Oh, I don't need to say sorry for that, come on. So pull this up. That's a bad habit of mine. I need to change. In terms of self-improvement, I gotta stop saying sorry for everything. That isn't really a bad thing necessarily, so to speak. So we're gonna put this on the side now. I'm trying to orient it in a way that you can view. Okay, so there's a good contrast against the floor. On this angle, you can see the wire. I think this was for like 25 bucks on Amazon, something like that. Not very expensive at all. That's why I bought it. On off. Here's the on off. It's like a rotation, brighter, dimmer. Just like 3 buttons, very basic. It's not a very expensive piece of equipment, so the quality probably isn't that great. But I will say that it seems to come with good enough utility. It remains to be seen how well the light works, though, so that's something else to mention. But I'm not going to be necessarily using the light for this particular live stream, I don't think. That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. And the reason is because, like I said, I'm not really comfortable right now being on stream, especially right now, even when I'm doing the exercises, I'm kind of shirtless. I don't exactly want to show that, right? It's not the most appealing thing to show. So I don't think I'll be using the ring light. I'll turn off the lights after this, and then I might plug it in, but I won't turn it on. I might do it just for demonstration purposes. No, in fact I won't, because if you see here, it's actually a USB cable here. So this means that I would plug in maybe a wall outlet socket with USB converters, adapters, USB Type-C, no, just USB, regular USB adapters into the wall, and then I would plug it here, and that's how it gets a source of its energy source. So in addition to that, you see that it also has 2 mobile clamps, one on the side, one that's the main head. It can be adjusted. I don't think this fits my phone. I don't know how this is going to work. It's interesting because I don't think it can. Oh, it can be. I see. Look. So it's like it has like it can be pulled up. It can be stretched. There's a latch here on the inside that inserts in, and you can pull it out. And there's a spring, a very strong spring on the inside that binds the 2 pieces together to create a firm grasp of the device. So I didn't notice that until I saw the line here, just a kind of little line here that separates everything. So that's that. And moving on to the bottom here, we can see there, again, we're just kind of like a review of the piece of equipment right here. So you can see there's a little head that spins, allows me to rotate the ring lights as well as on a horizontal and vertical manner, across X and Y and Z actually. So all 360, and then we go down here, and if I undo the tightening here, I believe it stretches out. No, it spins. It allows it to spin and reorient. But I'm going to tighten it up. What's really important here is not that spins out. What's important is that you can actually pull these apart, and so if I take off the latches here, they can extend. I remember when I was unboxing this, I found that to be interesting because I didn't know how they would make this extendable. So it was interesting watching the mechanism of action. So you just pull like that, and then here's another one here that I just pull off. I should mention very briefly that because I am learning how to do all this video recording stuff of very many different activities and therefore different series such as fitness, I'm not obviously expecting a lot of attention or views or engagement on these streams. They're not good in terms of production quality. I've mentioned this before, but the reason why I'm mentioning it now is because I recognize that that's also to mention something else important about that is because it is a rough and in training sort of live stream, and I will improve over time. eventually I will be making actually really watchable live streams or videos. And when that day comes, I'll be able to remake the content anyway. So that's something important that I had to remind myself. I might type that into the Excel document over here on the left hand side, because it's important for me to mention that and remind myself not to get caught up about the fact that the production quality sucks now. The most important part was just to say that, jeez, I can't even move this. The most important part is just to acknowledge that I'm doing this now so that I have these videos and live streams in the future and media content that I can just download straight from YouTube and Twitch and re-edit maybe like 6 months, a year or two down the road, and then really polish and compare, even if I want to when that day comes, the standards that I have over there 2 years down the road. So it'll be an interesting thing to look at and reflect on. Okay. Alright, now I'm a little confused because I'm trying to figure out how to... Oh, I was a little nervous there. I thought that might break when I close the latches down. So the latch here. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. 3 latches. So what we're gonna do now is that it? 1, 2, 3 latches. Yeah, alright, so we're gonna pull this apart. Okay, we pull it apart. Or not, we're not really pulling it apart. We have to first turn a third knob here. So there was 1, 2 dials, 1, 2, and 3 dials. So I pull off this dial and I spin it. This will actually extend. And then when it extends, we can actually expand this. I believe that's how it works. Bear with me. Again, the reason why it's so difficult for you to see all this right now is precisely because this ring light is the stand I want to use for recording the live stream, which is clearly not set up. And that's kind of silly, right? I mean, this is what you want to use to record with, and yet it's also so it was going to auto rotate for a second there, had me a little worried. All right, so we pull it apart. Okay, let's get it all the way down there. I want to get it all the way down. Nice. So now the knobs are on the floor. Unfortunately, I will say that the floor is pretty dirty. You can't see it because of the poor resolution, but I haven't mopped the floors or swept the floors in like 2 months. Oh, longer than that actually. I haven't mopped the floor in probably 4 months. So it's probably disgusting, and I feel kind of bad because there's a new gear, and I just probably got the knobs down here pretty dirty by touching the floor. But it is what it is, man. Probably have to clean up later. The most important thing, again, this is one to talk about when I say I had too much structure. The old me would have been like, oh, I can't start a stream because I have to clean the floors before I use the equipment, otherwise the equipment gets dirty. I mean, what the hell, doesn't matter. What matters is that you start the project and benefit your health and overall fitness and activity, and start this project which may in the future blossom into a community with a lot of people and social support, as well as something ambitious and maybe financially sustainable income. So that's all important, and it provides you a new set of skills and mindsets, and that's far more important than the floor here. Why you care about stuff like that? But that's something that I definitely would have been me. Now what I gotta do now is okay, so let's kind of get a overview here. So that's what it looks like right now. I've learned how to take a snapshot. Oh shit. Sorry, I apologize about that. What I just happened to do was I locked the phone. Damn. That probably disrupted the connection, I'll be honest. Damn. Okay. So I have to be careful when taking screenshots because... Hold on. So what I do to take a screenshot is actually I use a 2-button press using a third-party app. And that's actually how it records everything. So I have to be careful not to lock the phone. Alright, so what we do now, okay, this is set up. I want to probably adjust this a little bit, right? Move it back, and the way I'm going to be, so this is the bed, right? The way it's going to be done is I'm going to be probably doing something like crunches and some stretches of the legs and of the waist and of the arms and shoulders. So I'll want to capture my lower body instead of the upper because I'm not comfortable being on camera. I'm also shirtless right now, so there's that too, but I am wearing pants, so that's fine. So I want to orient this towards the lower half of the bed. So I'll turn it towards that way, and then I'm going to turn this, maybe bend this down a little bit, right? And I have to turn this to the sideways, because that's how it's going to record. And since I am going to be recording using the front-facing camera, I need to actually put some space so that I can actually look and check in once in a while to see what it looks like. So here goes nothing, right? Okay. And by the way, first I'm going to turn off the lights. So I'm going to turn off the lights here. Okay. And so now it's a lot darker, you can tell. Clearly, it's a lot darker, much darker. And you won't be able to make out, even separate the blankets from the bed, really. It's all kind of blended in together because of the low contrast. So I'm going to put it here. And I recognize this means I'll have to speak louder. So that's something new, right? Right now I'm speaking directly into the phone mic, I guess. That's what you could say. It's not, I don't know, the phone mic. It's just wherever the phone records at the bottom your voice. So I'll put it here, but keep in mind that I'm literally speaking like about a full 5 fingers from my face to the phone. Once I go down there, I probably won't be narrating as much, first of all, because I'll be moving, right? I'll be doing the exercises and so on and so forth, just to see what it looks like, really. I'll have to look at it. It looks horrible. I'm telling you, it probably looks awful. But you know, if that's what I'm doing, that's what I'm doing. You know, if that's what I do to take care of my body. There's no real shame in that. It's not really engaging content, but it might be kind of laughable at first, if anything. And then, you know, I might be talking aloud once in a while, but again, if you're kind of stretching and stuff like that, you probably don't want to be speaking the whole time anyways. It's kind of like when you're at the gym, you don't really say much, right? Someone drops by, you don't say anything. It's sort of like, hi, yeah, how are you? And then you get back to your work. Unless it's strictly there's something, oh, can you help me with the barbells or something like that, you know? But yeah, unless it's business related, you wouldn't acknowledge. So what's gonna happen is I'm just gonna stick this phone over here and I'm just gonna go do my stuff. And if I say anything, I have to keep in mind that I have to be loud, like I have to project my voice. And that's something that I'm a little hesitant to do, because where I am in this household, so this entire room really, unfortunately, so there's several rooms, of course, on the upper level on the second floor, but one of my brother's actually in another room, and he's also doing something that's got to do with broadcasting. But the good thing for him is he's over the kitchen, so he's not really disrupting anyone unless they're in the kitchen, right? And if you're in the kitchen, it's already really loud. Everyone's cooking in the stove, the ventilation system. But that's not true for me. Unfortunately, my unit, that I'm renting out is directly above, would you believe it or not, the landlord. That's right. So there's been a lot of strife. I guess I should mention this as a third thing that I missed up here. So in addition to the whole applying structure and freedom and really just focusing on purpose as opposed to structure or freedom or order or chaos, just focusing on aim, and that's the most congruent, that's the most useful and the most all-encompassing theme. Like, so that's something I missed there, purpose, as opposed to rigid structures and stuff like that was holding me back. Another thing I mentioned was probably something else that I forgot, actually, so too bad. But then there's this. So there's something about relationships, and particularly not relationships, but residency. I don't really consider that to be so much of a relationship-ish. It does have some relationships, because when it comes to being a tenant and a landlord, yeah, that has some relationships, but overall it's complicated by the fact that you're living together. So it's really more of a household thing. So we used to get along, we don't now, because our habits are just getting in the way. Our lifestyles are just so different, and you can expect. That's why I can't speak too loud. That's why I don't feel like I can project my voice, because I am in fact sharing this household with many people. It's like 4 different tenants as well as the landlord, so that's 5 like families or 5 independent groups of people. So that's what that is. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch. So just providing that context, I should have put that up here since I'm talking about it. I'll add it on later. It's not a big deal. And then I'll probably put this into an Excel file, a makeshift one that I already set up. Just say, what I covered on stream and what we did. So here we go. All right, I'm going to stick this here. Give me a second. Pull down the latch. And I hope the phone doesn't fall. I mean, that's something that would really... Okay, here we go. Set this up. It's very snug, by the way. The first thing I'm noticing, it's very tight, which is good because that means that the phone won't fall. It's a very strong clip. That's the word I was looking for, a clip or a latch, something like that. Very strong clip. Very nice. Okay, so we're gonna pull this up now. All right. And just position the camera accordingly. So I have to project my voice now because once again, I am no longer next to the phone. And you can see, I'm just trying to get some bearings as to where the phone is recording. And I'm going to try to pull this Excel document a little bit to the top if I can. No, I can't. Unfortunately, I cannot. All right, so let's see. My arm goes to about here. Maybe I'll mark it with red with the blankets so it's not all boring. There we go. So now you have some contrast, and you can see the contrast of the red blanket, hopefully a little bit better. It's a very dark red, it's like a maroon red, so probably won't see very much difference. Let's see. Okay. Try and get a good feel for it. Alright, so that's that. And then the pillowcase up here. So I'm actually still oriented too much to the upper body. I need to go a little bit further down. And that's important because, once again, I'm shirtless, so I don't want to put a shirt on. Typically, I don't do this with a shirt on. And at least Excel document will block that part, so it should be fine. It's not a PG. I mean, this stream anyways, I've already marked on YouTube. It's like, it says 18 plus. So, I don't create content that's like, that has anything to do with adult content. It's not like any sort of stream that's seductive or sexual in any way, but just the mature themes will not be missed on stream, right? Sometimes I talk about things that are more controversial, that have to do more with, gore or war or just mature topics. that I don't really consider to be mature, just topics that are generally not PC, all right? Not, they're just, not very nice topics to talk about. But those are the most interesting topics. The things that are most dirty and filled with suffering and pain and tragedy are the sorts of topics that usually are the most interesting and engaging. That's why I have marked on the content on YouTube that this stream, this project really as a whole, including videos and blogs and live streams and podcasts, has mature content. But overall, I don't really go on for joke's sake. I don't go on naked or anything like that as on the usual. So I'm just gonna do the fitness now, and I might be commentating, I might not. It doesn't really matter. All right. So the first thing I usually do, and apologize if I put the glasses there. Typically when I do go to do everything, first thing I do is more like a stretch. And you know what? Let me pull the camera closer. You can't see my body as a result of this, but that's good because I don't want it to be seen anyways. Let me just check on phone. Yeah, that's fine. So basically the first thing I would do, I'll probably give an overlay of how things go down. And let's just see how my hand goes this way, this way, this way, right here. So just getting the bearing. So it's like that. That's where the Excel document is. Okay. So typically speaking, I would do some stretches with the leg. I don't have the terminology. I don't know the names of the exercise formats. But basically, it's something like even when you go to school, when you were a kid, and that's, we're talking about when we were in elementary school, the phys ed teacher would tell you to like stretch your leg. That's the kind of basic kind of exercises that I'm doing. I'm not doing anything sophisticated with a trainer, professional athlete, anything like that. So I'll be stretching my legs, my knees, and after some stretching, and my arms and my shoulders and my waist, as well as my neck area, I tend to move my neck around, try to give it some motion. And I haven't done these exercises in quite some time, but until maybe the last week or so, and I've come back into it. So after that, we'll also probably do a little bit of, muscular work. I don't have the terminology. I don't have the vocabulary. But I guess you would consider this to be cardio, but I'm not doing it for cardio's sake so much, because it's not like I'm going to be doing 50 crunches. I'll just be doing like 20. It's more like a warm-up, if anything. Like I said, this is only going to last about 5 minutes at tops. So that's that. And I don't think I will be speaking very much during this time. Halfway through, I will, if you do stay tuned, I will talk about another sort of exercise I do that is not for the body, the muscles, or the musculoskeletal system, but more for the eyes. So it's like the visual system, but we'll get to that after this one. So here goes. Dusting off. I don't know if you can hear me. If you can't hear me, that's fine. It's not a big deal. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm nervous, and I can tell because my heart's a little racing and I'm a little fidgety. I'm quite fidgety right now. I don't think you can hear me, but so right now I'm doing I believe they call it the trapezius. And what I'm doing is I'm putting my body against the corner of the bed.
my entire upper torso sort of bend backwards over the corner, the triangulated corner of the bed. And the reason for this, and then I put my arms and I stretched them wide out to the side, which unfortunately I know you cannot see, but I don't have a shirt on. Maybe tomorrow or the day after we do the stretches again on a live stream, I will be able to show you if I put on a shirt. It's important that I do it without a shirt for the first time because this is actually how I usually do it. So only after I've done one live stream without a shirt on, because that's how I usually do it. I have to capture things as they are. I can't censor anything unless it's for security reasons or privacy reasons or So I got my arms out. Okay. And my neck is tilted back. Alright.
And what that does is it allows me to get my posture back on track. So one thing that I have that's a big issue for most of my life is that my neck tends to bend forward. I have the slumped over back. I tend to slouch quite a bit because growing up in what was an abusive household, and I won't dive into that yet, is basically, I focused a lot more on academics and homework and a lot of that kind of paperwork and book. I was a bookworm, and I felt that was important because it was like my responsibility to take care of the entire family, I felt like at the time. But because of that, I ended up doing like 12 hours, like writing books and studying and stuff like that. It's not good for the back, and I wasn't having good posture. So that's sort of why I do this kind of neck. Again, I'm sorry you can't see this, but my shoulder area of my arms are bent backwards over the bed, as well as my neck. And I try to do this at least once a day. And it was only necessary because this only became necessary because I still am, as of late, working on a chair that makes me slouch. Doesn't have as good back support as say an office chair I have to use. I'm not sure if you can hear me, but whatever. Doesn't have to be a big stream. Doesn't even have to be a good stream. It just has a good stream. Okay. Alright, so we did that. Let me get some bearings as what can be seen here. Oh, you can see my belly button actually. Okay. Alright. Okay, maybe that's a little bit much then. Maybe I'll turn to the side. So what we can do next is typically, I don't do the crunches yet. It's just a typical standard stretch all the way down to your ankles. If you want to do this with me, that's fine. If you don't want to, that's alright. I'm going to do this. Basically, both on the left and the right side. And you hold it for about 5 to 10 seconds, right? You have to do it and make sure that you feel the pain though. So you have to feel your tendons pulling on you. If you don't feel it, then it's not really doing anything, really. Feel the tendons pulling on you. Okay. So the left as well as the right. Okay. Left and the right. Okay, alright. So then after that, I part the legs, right? So one extended and one contracted, and you do this kind of 45 degree. Or I'm trying to make it as much as I can, so maybe about like 55 degrees right now. At this point though, I can't say that I actually need to do this exercise as much, because I can tell I can move it all the way to 55, almost 60 degrees up angle. And so I need to adjust the exercise to make it more challenging and more taxing for my body, because it's not challenging anymore, which means that there's no growth. I have, in other words, the maximum flexibility in this angle, in this degree of angle, or in this particular motion. So what I can do is I can maybe slant to the side a little bit and test what movements will provide me some tension. So I don't have anything there. But if I turn my leg and I do it this way, right? I believe posterior or superior, and then I pull to the side, my leg on that side. Now I feel it again. So now I'm moving a different tendon on my left leg because I turned my right leg and flipped it from a posterior to, or a superior to posterior position, something like that. I don't know what the exact words are. I have to find out I have to go online and actually seek out the anatomy vocabulary, but I'm turning the leg in a way such that the inside of my foot, of my leg, my inner leg is facing down as opposed to up, and now I can really feel the tension a little bit in two areas, both my right and left leg. So now I'm going to do that with the left hand side as well, and with the right hand side. Just gonna pull, and I have most of my life been more flexible because I used to do this every morning, as well as something like Muay Thai and some Kung Fu and that kind of stuff, and just some general cardio work and stuff. And so I can reach my ankles to my wrists all the way, and that's something that I feel like you can see maybe it's all the way down, but I can feel it. I can feel that, and what I'm gonna do now is just kind of stick my hand underneath my calf region, under my knees, my knee joints. I can feel the tendons there. I tend to give a little bit touch here and there just to feel out where the tendons are, provide some, I don't know, if not comfort, but just trying to feel it out. It just feels kind of interesting too, right? To be present with your own body and your muscles and tendons. I'm gonna move this and turn my leg the other way once again. Inner leg facing down. And over here is the opposite. I don't have any tension. So this is the maximum, at least in this angle. I can't really increase the angle any further. So this is the maximum amount of extension I can do. However, if I turn my body this way, I can start to feel the burn again. In fact, I almost pull my muscle there. Be careful. So if I turn it this way, and my left leg goes back as opposed to the side, it goes up on a posterior direction, I suppose, as opposed to a distal direction. I can really feel. So that's an area I need to work with, I can tell now, because that's the way you would make a back kick, right? If you would lead with the back of your foot, the heel, when you're doing a standing turn kick. I don't know what to call it. You would do that. So I have to go back here and try that. With guys. I think I can feel the burn. Yeah, I can feel it now. Oh, I feel the burn now. So this hurts, and it should hurt, because if it doesn't hurt, then no pain, no gain, right? So yeah, that hurts. Sweet like that for like 5 minutes, 5 seconds. That hurts. Not too much. Right, you don't want to overdo it. If it hurts, you just want to put it on the very, very edge, right? That's the learning curve there. You don't want to make it too painful. I believe it's at 85 to 15%. So 85% sort of learned material that you've sort of mastered, but 15% material that's sort of unknown and challenging and difficult, and you're so it's like 85% success, 15% failure, and that's sort of like the Pareto rule, right? 80-20 rule. That's sort of the area of maximum growth, maximum improvement. Again, I don't have the proper concepts and terminology all nailed down, so I apologize. Let's do this again. Both legs extended. It's funny because when we're doing this, I didn't intend on having some sort of meditative music, but I'm listening to the Well-Lit Cafe. That's the song that's playing right now. Whoever's the artist did a great job on this. It really suits what I'm doing right now. Okay, so now we're going to do that very standard, go to the gym, stretch, that diamond. And I can feel it around my groin area for sure, around my thighs, inner thighs, pelvic region. And the closer you bring it, the more you feel it. So that's the whole point. Right now, this is, and the more you spread apart, also, like the flatter you make the angle, it hurts more. But you don't want to push yourself too far, right? You just want to get in that sweet spot, like 85-15%. Okay. Alright. So it seems like my angle right now seems to be about like 130 degree angle. No, it's like 140, so it's an obtuse. And I can bring my foot close enough that they meet for sure, and even further. But it's not comfortable, right? It's definitely not easy for me to do that. Okay. So that's done. Now we're gonna move towards the upper body, which you will not be able to see once again because I'm shirtless and I don't want to show that for the live stream purposes. I have to do it raw. The way I usually do things, I have to cover it first time before we make any improvements. So I'm going to put my leg over here, put my elbow over here, and I'm going to twist my waist. Oh, I thought I heard that. Twist. And I can feel it actually. It's rare that this exercise makes me feel anything, but this time I actually feel it. So I can feel my shoulders and my waist and a little bit on my thigh, so it's a very nice twist. Okay, next, right leg over, left elbow, and then turn back. From this side I don't feel anything though, except on my shoulders. Oh, I feel something down here around my my ass, my glutes, a little bit. Okay, and my neck area. Okay. Alright, so that pulled my shoulder apart a little bit. And now what I want to do is my arm is right, so I tend to do this crowbar thing. You can't see it, I don't want to show this either again, because shirtless, whatever. So, arms above, one arm above, one arm below, around the back, and I pull. And I'm fortunate enough, I know that some people can't do this, but I'm fortunate enough that both my hands can meet each other. And I pull, I switch, and I pull. Switch arms and pull again. Maybe for about 5 seconds, 10 seconds. This is an easier stretch for sure. I'll say that much. I haven't been doing this stretch in a long time, and since the last time I used to do this regularly was like 6 years ago. And in between those 6 years, I've been working at a workplace, in a warehouse setting that required quite a bit of heavy lifting, vigorous lifting. I pushed myself beyond what I was supposed to, unfortunately, for some not so good reasons. My fault there, really. Partly my fault, partly the colleagues and just the environment as a whole. But because of that, I can really feel that my arms are really stiff underneath. I don't know the tendon, specifically the name for the tendon, but I know it's there. It's that specific tendon. And it does hurt. I can feel the tightness. It's on the outside as opposed to the inside. Okay. Now here comes the fun part. And the fun part is me doing kind of semi-cardio stuff. It's not really, I don't consider it cardio because I'm not really pushing myself very far. It's just more like an active workout to some degree. And sit-ups, push-ups, basic stuff. So, and some, I don't know if you call it planking. It's not like a plank, but you raise your legs up. You'll see. Before we start again though, I want to say, let's take a deep, I usually don't, so here's the thing, right? I don't usually speak when I'm doing my exercises, and therefore my breathing patterns are a lot more, well, it's a lot easier to work without talking and narrating, unlike what I'm doing now, which I'm narrating. So I'm finding, I have to take breaths. I'm out of breath actually, just because I have to speak and stretch. I haven't done any sort of cardio work. I'm already kind of out of breath. So I'm going to take maybe about 45 seconds to give it some rest and catch my breath. And then once we do that, then we can start the crunches or the sit-ups or whatever you want to call those, and as well as the push-ups. So once again, I have to catch my breath because typically when I do the exercises, I don't actually speak, but I can tell it's very different when you have to narrate or present while you're doing an exercise. So I'm just going to lie down for a moment, maybe about 20 seconds, and take some deep breaths. And then it'll be fine. Alright, so that's enough time. It doesn't have to be very long. I just need to catch my breath. I should probably also get a drink of water. And now what we're going to do is the sit-ups. So we're probably going to do only about 25 or so. We'll challenge ourselves more as the live stream continue. Well, this is the first fitness series live stream that I've ever done on the project. We're just going to start it small, right? And eventually we'll be doing like 30, 40, 50, 60, maybe up to like 70 before we stop at that interval, because after a certain amount of repetitions, that exercise is no longer a benefit to you. You need to add weights. So you might want to go to the gym and add some 15-pound, 20-pound weights on top of that, and then do sit-ups while holding that weight to your chest. Otherwise, the repetitions, just the amount of repetitions, is not really good enough for the body. But that's in the future, a long time down the future. So let's just, enough of the chit chat and just do it right now. And I'm going to try and get the form right. I know it's important that I don't bend or curve the back, because that's not actually training the muscles. If I want to train the muscles, I have to make sure that back is actually kind of straight. Once again, going to move the camera further down south because I don't want to be seen without sure I'm not comfortable with that way yet. That's just something I have to work on. That's just confidence, right? Working on confidence and presentation skills on the stream. So that's something to improve on. do the crunches or the sit-ups or crunches, same thing. What I tend to do is I tend to go slowly when I go up around the lower angles, so that it tests, it challenges, and there's more pain around the abdomen area, because that's where you actually work out your muscles. It's not the easy part, right? You need to train your muscles by practicing your body during the most difficult part of the exercise, which means when you're almost down, when your back is almost to the bed or to the floor, that's where you have the most weight on that angle of your body, right? So you might want to do that. That's when you feel the burn. That's where it hurts, right? My voice is changing as I'm doing it because it's actually testing me, right? It's actually hard to do. No pain, no gain. And that's how it should be. At the same time that I do the sit-ups, what I tend to do, or the crunches, I reach my arms to the furthest I can possibly reasonably go while in motion. And so I'm sort of stretching my legs at the same time and stretching the back, the lower end of my tendons at the same time that I do crunches. So it's kind of like 2 for 1. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Save you some time as well. Also trains you a little bit more too. And it also helps to add some variety, because once again, you don't want to do the same repetitions over and over again without some variation. If you really want to maximize, I feel, or optimize, this is just my personal methodology, this is my own strategy, is that I like to add variation into what I do, so that it trains different muscles in addition to the core muscles that I'm training. So I might go from side to side on a sit-up, right? Like this. I might do like a Muay Thai elbow, reaching up forward, and then I might do the left-hand side. But I don't do the same thing all the time over and over again, because that won't actually work out the muscles, or it might just work out the same muscles, but you want to train your entire body, not just one area. Unless you are I know that some people, so it depends on your goals, so that really depends, right? Sometimes you just want to train one thing at one time, and I think that's actually a better approach for most cases, right? It's just because crunches and sit-ups are a very basic thing. They're very basic, they don't have a whole lot of motion to it, so because of that, you might want to add variation. But when it comes to more complex, especially when you're doing something that has weights, it's important to maintain form or structure and so on and so forth. That you cannot change, or you might injure yourself, so I have to add that caveat there. So sometimes you can add variation, but not all the time. It really depends on your goals and the kind of exercise that you're working on in the moment. And you can see that I do tend to pinch my fists up a little bit when I do that. I have to be careful about maintaining the form again. It should not be a curved back when I do the sit-ups. That's also a main reason why I don't really do sit-ups in the way that people used to say put your hands behind the back of your head, but that pushes your head forwards and gives you a bit of a slump shoulder kind of feel, and that can develop into a bad habit. Hence why when people say crunches, they just put their hands forward as opposed to sit-ups, and I think that's a better approach. So I have to be careful though, not to reach too far with my arms too. I noticed that's a bad form and something that I just do that's not really right, that's wrong. So that's something I had to fix. Okay, so that's enough for today. We're not really, you can tell that I'm not really it doesn't really matter how many repetitions I do as long as I demonstrate the concept on stream, because it's the first time doing this particular sort of activity on a stream. And also we set up the ring light, the stand, really nice, and learn how to use the clamp, so that's good. Now what I'm gonna do is significantly more difficult, right? It's like for me, the upper body is more difficult for me, and that would be the push-ups or so on and so forth. So that's something that I would be doing next. Or well, no, hold on. I'm gonna do some steps, and then what I do is I lean into the next exercise, which is like that leg lift. So I'll show you right now. So I can just sit up, maybe 2, and then when I'm done, I just go down and it lifts. Right, so this has to do with gymnastics, I believe. I'm out of breath. So when you go to the Olympics and you see the guys with their arms and they're spinning over the bars, right? So it's like to be able to lock their core muscles at the same time and lift, maintain a certain rigid structure, requires your entire body to lock up. It's hard. It's tough. Shit. Right. And then after this, let me catch my breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So immediately I fall into this. So my entire lower body is going to go up into the air, and I'm going to maintain it almost like a handstand. So I like do that. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Wait. Right. Okay. And then immediately afterwards, we jump into the push-ups. Not diamond push-ups because I can't do diamond push-ups yet, but we'll just. And I can't do very much right now, right? I just can do like 3. And again, make sure that it's straight. 4. I'm so bent out of shape. Okay. 45 seconds. Hold on. Okay, now this is important. Immediately after I do something rigorously that, so we lie down, practice breathing technique. So now we're moving away from stretching and flexibility and away from cardio and muscular endurance and stamina and into recovery and form breathing, right? It's usually a good thing to, at this point in time, to put my arms down and stretch on my upper back, my upper area once again. Alright, so I want to comment. So when it comes to breathing, I remember it's like so my cousin does a lot of running and sprints. So he talks about stuff that I remember. He took exercise science, and I took biology all throughout my 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 earlier days in school. So it was like, you know, VO2 max and all that kind of stuff, lung capacity. I don't remember the optimal breathing technique of inhale for, I believe, like inhale for about a slow inhale. No, a quicker inhale of about 4 seconds and then a slow exhale for 8 seconds. It's like a deep breathing technique. So I believe it's something like that. I'm gonna try. Back in about 30 seconds. Alright, so that was the deep breathing thingamywhat. And during this time, so I said earlier on stream, before I started the fitness thing, the stretching exercise and whatnot, there was something in addition to flexibility, cardio, stamina, endurance, and even breathing technique. And this one is for the eyes, so I have to credit my optometrist, which is a career that I once wanted to pursue for the wrong reasons, but now I might want to pursue it for all the right reasons. But something that I learned when I was at one point interested in optometry, and thanks to my optical clinic and my personal eye doctor, optometrist. So I do eye exercises, believe it or not. And there are such things as eye exercises where you train the eye muscles. And so I remember there was a post, and she had a Facebook group, my optometrist, for her clinic and overall her practice, because she has many associates as well. Her husband is also partnered with her. Even their own kids are in it. Again, I'm not going to give any name drops because privacy, confidentiality, but needless to say, my personal optometrist, my family optometrist, whatnot. So there was a post, and you do these eye exercises where you look up and down and left and right, and also to the diagonal. So it's like up and then 45 degrees, and then 0, and then minus 45, and then minus 90, and then minus 125 or something like that. Is it 125? Yeah, you go the other way and then all the way around. And I tend to do like a zigzag, like an infinity loop, like an 8 degree, like a diagonal, like a sideways 8. I'm not sure if there's a really particular way you need to do it, but you can also just do the standard clockwise movement across so you look all the way as high as you can go without hurting yourself or straining your eyes too much, and then you just move all the way around in a 360 degree manner, all the way down, all the way around, and then you go slowly back again, and then you give some more, I quicken my movements on the eyes. So I'm gonna do that right now. And I do this about every morning or every other morning. After the
exercise.
Alright, so that's it. I think that kind of covers the whole fitness thing. Okay, let me sit. I need to lie down for a second. And then get a drink of water. And then we'll try to see if we can touch on the last thing there, which is the standing desk and reconfiguring the table setup. So let me just get a deep breath and then we'll get up and drink some water. Alright. So now, let's go get a drink of water. I'm going to try to turn the stand around. Oh, that's gross. Alright, that's a little gross. So what this is both funny and disgusting at the same time, but basically I got a bit of a sunburn. So I went outside to with blood to an area called Sandbanks. It's basically like it's got a lot of trails near to one of the Great Lakes, and I got heavily sunburned because I got lost midway, and then I had to slowly find my way back. And basically, there's a lot of after I did the sit-ups and the stretches, there's like the shedding of dead skin on my pillowcase. And I know I'm not supposed to show something like this, but I just thought it was fucking hilarious. So yeah, so that's that. What I will say is I really like this. I like the ring stand. It's a very nice addition. This is now, I can see for the foreseeable future. I apologize. This is most likely how I will be doing, I guess, live streams. So now one thing I want to do is see if I can correct the audio. I do have the HyperX Quadcast mic. I wonder if there's a way that I can, why don't we move to the mic? So here's the mic, right? I wonder if there isn't a way. I'm still out of breath, man. I wonder if there still isn't a way for me to connect the mic, the Quadcast mic, and use it on my phone, because obviously right now I'm using scuffed audio on my phone, the Live Prism app, and I don't know if Prism Live Studio app supports using external mics outside of the phone, and I don't know if I can find a way to connect that mic, which, by the way, the HyperX Quadcast is a USB mic, so it's a USB jacket. Is there some way that I can convert between a USB plug output to a USB Type-C input? Or no, sorry. I need a USB Type-C input for the output of the cell phone, but somehow that also needs to have a USB input socket for the USB output of the HyperX Quadcast. Input output is confusing. I don't know. You just understand, like, I need to plug in the HyperX Quadcast into some sort of adapter, which then connects to this phone. I don't know if that's possible, and I don't know if it would allow the phone to use that mic. But if I could, that'd be great, because that microphone is a lot better than whatever I'm using right now. That being said, though, it still remains to be seen whether or not that would be all that helpful or worthwhile in the first place. It might not provide enough value for me to have to fight over that hassle. That's how I'm debating it right now, because even if I connect the mic, I imagine we'll have to probably use some filters, right? Like compression, equalizer, limiter, noise gate, and I don't think I can apply those filters in any way through the Live Prism app, or in any way that I could broadcast live from my phone if I had the microphone, the HyperX Quadcast, connected to the Android phone. So that's all something in the air. I was just trying to come up with ideas, but yeah. Okay, water. Thirsty. Water. Alright, we just got a drink of water. I think what I can do now is pull the phone off the ring clamp. And, no, bad idea. No, we still need the ring clamp. I made a mistake. Ugh, got too comfortable after the exercise. Okay. So here's what's next. We have to set up the next. So I have like 4 huge boxes, huge ass boxes. Okay. Right here, I'm gonna turn on the lights. And I haven't unboxed the equipment. And they've been here for like 3 months. And I imagine it's probably getting on the nerves of the landlord. But basically, I need to take this equipment apart and actually start using it. But there have been a lot of things getting in the way that have been of higher priority, such as I've mentioned in the first live stream that there was potentially remote access to one of my devices from a hacker or a Trojan. And that resulted in me having to take like 3 weeks to sort everything out with the laptop, making sure that the old device is completely cleared of anything personal, getting a new laptop, changing the PIN, password, multi-authentication on my bank accounts, social accounts, whatever accounts, just overall anything that had to do with security. But during that time, I was supposed to start, what I'm doing now is what I should have done then. So there was a lot of delay, and I apologize that if I ever made any posts, I don't believe I made any posts, but any posts I made saying that I would get it done, I'm sorry that it took so long to get to that point. So where we are now is we're going to unbox after. So we did that stream. We mentioned some things we missed, such as focusing on purpose instead of and placing that as a higher priority. Structure should serve purpose more than purpose should serve structure. And if it means the relinquishing structure, so be it. And if it means we need structure and we need to relinquish some freedom, then so be it. Purpose is number one. We also did the ring light. We talked about toothpaste, enamel. We talked about stretch, cardio, a bit of other stuff, gimmicky stuff, eye muscle movement, right? And then also about residency, housemates, some difficulty about it's just very hard to live with like 15 different people at the same time. I'm conflicting with them, they're conflicting with me. We all have different lifestyles. So that's another thing was discussed early on. So this is all on top of what's next. And what's next after having done the exercises and covered general relationships and generally about technology and setup. The next thing now is to get this office desk material, and this is actually covered. I believe I've filed with my income tax accountant so that this will be a write-off. But what's underneath this luggage bag is essentially, and let me move it closer so you can see. Let's put it down. Let's put down the stand. This is a box of a standing office desk, and I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to get to this a lot sooner because I wanted to correct my back posture, especially when you're working this much sitting down. You don't want to sit down the whole day. So the whole idea between the standing desk, and I believe the brand of this is like Fit for Eyes. So Fit for Eyes here, this box here inside is it's a not very large standing desk. It's not the electronic type where you press a remote button and then it automatically lifts. This standing desk over here is one that you would put on the table and you have to manually lift, and it rises by maybe about 2-3 feet, I believe, at most, but that's good enough for my purposes. At least it gets me off my butt, off my ass, because I hate sitting down the whole day. Even if I'm working on the office or on this project, on a business, or just paying down my my transactions, or just changing some things on profile. Whatever I'm doing sitting down, I also want to do 50% of the time. So half the time that I'm sitting, I actually want to be standing. Not only does standing burn about like 50 calories per 30 minutes or a full hour, but like that's besides the point, really. I just wanted to get myself. I think there's some redundant pun intended, but I think better and clearer when I'm actually standing up, and I think this is probably true for most people because we just human beings. You are far healthier when you're active. Even if you're in the office setting, I think it's important to be able to stand up for 4 hours and sit down for 4 hours. And well, ideally you want to incorporate other movements. You probably want to walk around every half hour. It's not like a break, but at least you should probably be moving your body instead of being stagnant the whole day, the whole damn day. And that's what's inside this box here. And let's try to unbox some of it. I know I can't get it all done because this stream is already 1 hour and 26 minutes long, so it's an hour and a half stream, hour and a half long already. That's exhausting. I'm tired. I'm really tired now. But there's more work to be done, because after this stream and unboxing this standing desk, what we're gonna have to do is run a side business and research convention. So the Usana convention is running, and like I said, I'm recording it for my team member she's really sadly very ill. No names mentioned, but I'll abbreviate her name by KW. So let's say KW. She's a very dear friend of mine, and she's very, very sick. And she has a family, her husband and her son. And I don't know what's gonna do, because she probably has a terminal illness. And I'm gonna be recording that business convention for her. But it's also good for me to be listening and learning about the business anyways, about the scientific endeavors and the new patents and technologies. So we actually had the previous stream on that, and that's probably where the next stream after this one ends. After this stream ends with the unboxing of this standing desk and maybe clearing of the table, we're probably going to do a second live stream today or tomorrow to follow up from that convention, the Usana convention. So it's having the 30th anniversary. I want to record that, and I usually would say, again, don't record stuff like that. It's a paid event, copyright reasons. But under this extraordinary circumstance of my colleague and partner being really gravely ill, I won't say what it is, but I said terminal illness, so she might not make it, unfortunately. She might pass away. We don't know. Chemo, radiotherapy. But that kind of gives it away, doesn't it? That's sort of something that I wanted to cover and get done for her. So that's something we'll work on maybe after this. So for now, let's just take off this luggage bag here. Right, I'm gonna pull off. Okay, lift the stand. Take a breath. Okay, back to work. So we got 5 seconds. Okay, pick up the luggage bag. This bag has some garbage in here that I'm gonna toss out when I go. Oh, I forgot to mention. Another thing that I didn't put on Microsoft Excel right now, on Microsoft Excel on the left-hand side of the live stream panel, you should see another entry. Should also be that tonight I'm going to go out with my buddy and his wife, and we're just gonna have a dinner together. They invited me, and I wanted to return some gifts. So much stuff. Okay, okay. You know what? Let's stay focused. Let's not get distracted, because I have to cover the relationships, like friendship, right? Friendship. I also have some gifts for him and his wife. So, but before that, that's standing desk. So here's the luggage bag. We're gonna move this off. There's some garbage here, recyclables as well as trash. Pick it up. Okay. And what can I do? I would usually put this out in the hall, but I don't. I'm not gonna walk outside shirtless, so I'm gonna leave it here on the floor, maybe. On the floor. Come on. It's hard to do this all with one hand, so okay, there. It's on a slant, doesn't matter. Turn around. Okay. So this is I have to make sure that I don't show the packaging too much, because it might have some details I don't want shown. Okay. So it's leaning against the closet. And over here, if I open it, you'll see there's a flat panel all the way down. I'm gonna pull it apart here for a moment. I'm gonna pull the box all the way down. Well, I can't actually, it's kind of being... I'm gonna do this. Alright, let's do this. let's be smart about this, all right? Put the stand down. Put the stand down. Okay, put the stand down. And then I'm going to grab the box with the standing desk and I'm going to put it on my bed. That might dirty the bed, but the bed's already dirty. I'm dirty. So much work. I haven't been taking a shower as often as I want to be, but how do we do this? So I'm first going to put on a shirt because I might be in front of the camera now. And here's my lab coat. Got it from Amazon. Okay. So what we're going to do now, very scientific. It's like I'm back in the university days inside the physiology and anatomy lab doing a cat dissection. Get out the scalpels, we're performing surgery. Okay. Except, alright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the office desk on the bed. Okay, let's pick up the stand for a second. You can see that's where it is. Face it, face it, face it. Okay. Quite heavy, but that's what we have to put on the bed. No pain, no gain. Alright, so let me put on my glasses. Give me a second. So the standing desk cost about $150, I believe. That was quite expensive. I know 150 is not a lot to a lot of people, but for me, since when I was working, I was only making about 16.5 bucks per hour. I mean, it's decent, but you know, I'm not making high income, right? So that's why when I say something costs like $170, for me, I consider that to be quite expensive in my current state. So I want to take this, so you can see the box here. There's still some stuff inside. Here's the styrofoam. I'll pull this off to the side. And then on the inside, you see the panel. That's still part of the desk. So we're going to take that desk and grab the slip of instructions, as well as the inside panel here. There's styrofoam packaging that's lodged. Okay, you know what? We might want to leave that. I don't want it to fall down. Here's the styrofoam packaging, and here are the instructions. And we're going to move the instructions over and place it on the bed. Okay. And here's the styrofoam fell down. We need to get this panel over. So here is the panel. It's probably more heavy than I can handle with one. Well, it's not that it's heavy actually. It's more that it's awkwardly configured. It's like a weird shape to hold up. And I'm also using one arm and the other arm's holding the stand. So here's the panel. Let's move over to the bed and put the stand down now, since I have everything on the bed now. Again, for logistical reasons, I could not show the top packaging. Okay, there we go. So we're going to bend the camera down a little bit, bend over. I'm going to try to position the camera a little better as well. And move over Excel to the side. Okay, you know what I think? I think it's better that I do this on a separate stream. Yeah, I believe that. Okay, so what I'm going to do, bear with me for a second. I'm going to pull apart the foam out from the ring. Come on. It's very tight. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we got it apart. And now what we want to do is just end the live stream actually, because assembling the table desk is going to take a lot of time. And this is probably enough for an entire live stream on its own. And I should mention before we get to that how important it is to do this. By the way, here's the ring light that we finally got set up. Finally, after months and months. There it is, the stand that it's a good setup for live streaming, but it's also a good ring light as well. But what's really important about this standing table desk thing that makes this very important is that, once again, it is going to make it much more feasible for me to do any sort of project in terms of these business project live streams, or any logistical work, even for entertainment, because I want to be able to engage with people on stream, but also to have me be active when I'm just working in general. And so far, if you turn to the right hand side, you see that's the chair, and that chair is like a reclining sort. It's like one of those chairs that you put in the backyard, so it's got a maybe like an obtuse 110-degree angle, so it doesn't have the back support that is its configuration, its design, almost, it doesn't have any support especially I'm sitting at that angle, so I end up slouching. Now, I'm not saying that standing is going to make slouching go away, but standing at the very least, especially after I do that kind of torso exercise that I only talked about this stream, I'll be able to at least get have my back posture standing up erect, and my shoulders spread out to the sides, my chest area out, my neck straight up. Again, just having good posture, very important. And I don't want that to accumulate, because again, I've been spending so much time on office work and paperwork and technology and the computer. It's insane. This is going to make things a lot more realistically feasible. It's going to make things a lot more practical, right? I want to be able to work long term, and I have to be able to stand to do that. Have time staying and standing. So because it's such an important piece, and it's going to take a lot of time to build, I can't just continue this live stream as is, because it's already an hour and 40 minutes long. Also, I want to stop talking. I'm out of breath. I want to stop talking for at least 20 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever it is. Get the next stream set up after this, and then in that stream we will set this up, and we will clear that table, or we'll try to, I think. You know what? Let's do one thing before we. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the laptop here, and I'm going to turn it off. Turn off the laptop, because we don't need the laptop for this stream, but we will need to clear the table if we're gonna put the standing desk on top of this desk right here. So, what happened there? That's weird. Looks like the laptop shut down by itself. Okay, I don't know what happened there. I have to be careful about that. That's fine. So it's shut down now. Probably, hopefully not because the battery died or anything. That's kind of a warning. Okay, that was unexpected. Back here, table desk. So this is what we're gonna work on next. And yesterday's live stream I ended up with the outro. Take care of yourself and your loved ones, and make sure you become a strong, disciplined, responsible individual, and all that jazz. We're gonna skip all that, right? Because we're gonna be here in about 15 minutes time building this. Okay, and hopefully I will also update on Excel things that I missed on stream, so that we can let me just shortly recap those elements before I restart the stream and start trying to cover this, because that's important. So the things that we missed, for example, was purpose. Purpose is more important than having structure or having no structure, the presence or absence of any sort of plan. Most important is purpose, your goal, and working towards that. So action, work towards that. Another thing that we needed to incorporate into this list, I believe, was what was it? Eye movements, the eye exercises, and then on top of that, also residency. So having to do with housing, right? Housing, and then the fourth thing was relationships, and I think we'll have to cover that in the next live stream. Down there in that Yuzana bag are some things I want to give to my buddy and his wife, and tonight, and we're gonna have a dinner. So that's where we're gonna go from here on out after the stream ends. I'll see you in about 20 minutes time. This is Ahn Rho signing out. Thank you for tuning in. My hypothetical imaginary viewers, if you are here, great. If you're not, then well, this is like a documentary, a time capsule. So there's always multiple reasons to do any one particular thing, and this will definitely be something that is important to me, if not anybody else. So I'll see you in the next live stream. Peace. 10 minutes, all right? 10, 15 minutes.